Welcome to our weekly energy forecast and meditation.
I'm Juna.
Sabine. And we're from Synergy in Motion, where it's all about empowering you to live true to you. Every week we bring you a piece of wisdom based on the I-Ching and human design that places it into the current time, and also inspired by the gene keys. So this week we have
an interesting mix. We have sort of a dual focus, and we have the extremes, and we have modesty. Two words, and really they go together because the definition of modesty is balancing the extremes. And it's interesting that today we're in a new moon, and a new moon in the cycle of the moon's phases is an extreme in and of itself, right? Sabina tells me it's time to plant root vegetables, right? Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's time to plant the root.
moon pulls it into the ground.
Yeah, so that's an extreme in nature, and we find extremes in nature. Another extreme that's coming up this week is the summer solstice for those of you in the Northern Hemisphere. It's on Wednesday, the 21st, and that's the longest day of the year. And so another extreme. So just this hexagram 15 is what we're in. It's the gate of extremes and this sense of modesty. And I want to look a little bit more. We're going to talk a little bit about what modesty is and what is this balancing of extremes. When I first hear of the word modesty, I think of like very prim religious groups, and I think of like false modesty and maybe feeling making yourself feel humble, and in that humility, you're being superior. And it's got all of these different connotations, kind of like an old-fashioned concept, like, why would you need modesty? And yet modesty is this, it's a middle ground. It is the balance between extremes. And sometimes when you're being tossed to and fro in the oceans of life, you want to hold on to something that is true. And we speak a lot about living true to you. And what is your truth and what is true to you is your modesty and what you know and what you're aligned with. Your truth within keeps you modest, so that when someone challenges you from the outside, for example, you might be in an extreme situation in a relationship or a situation at work. They challenge you and everybody's hot-headed or whatever, and you can be modest in just speaking your truth very calmly and collectedly and say, this is where I stand, and not having to go into this thrashing around that a lot of people do, and just be in this modesty. And another example that,
hang on, I just had an aha when you were speaking. Like, in that situation, the modesty is that you don't have to prove your point of view. Right. You don't have to prove anything. You don't use it to justify. So you don't elevate yourself above anybody else. You don't have that need, or put yourself lower to be better. Elevation ultimately again. So it is really that modesty of being okay with who you are, and not having to be lesser or more than anybody else.
Which is that balance.
Exactly.
And another example, just to bring it home, is when we think of like the traditional pagan or indigenous cultures that when they take from the land or from their hunting, and they just take what they need, and they don't go crazy excessively for what their tribe needs, but they just take what they need, and nothing more, nothing less. They don't let themselves starve. They take what they need. And so there's this modest quality there. And it's just this beautiful energy that is available to us this week to ponder, to look inside of ourselves at, where is my middle ground? What do I stand for? What do I know with beyond a shadow of a doubt that's true for me, that I don't have to shout. I don't have to do handstands to try to convince somebody of something else. So it's a lovely concept that, take another look at it. That's what we're really encouraging you to do this week. And we can take it into meditation as well.
And also look at these conditioned point of views on what modesty or humbleness means, because a lot of time it is actually used to enslave or indoctrinate people to, if you get it right, then you're better. And then you get to whatever the gold pot at the end of the rainbow for that tradition is. That's not modesty. That's just greed and superiority in the skin of modesty. But that's not really modesty. Mm-hmm. Like, modesty has extreme simplicity in it. There's just, yeah, that works for me. No, it doesn't. Mm-hmm. Without the need to prove anything or make yourself anything else other than who you are. Mm-hmm. And there's a real beauty in that, and ease. And last time we talked about when you're in that flow, how abundance just comes. Same with modesty. We think that modesty means that you don't have. No, not at all. It is that you have what you require. Maybe not what you desire all the way, your mind desires, but absolutely everything that you require and what is necessary to move forward. And for me, I mean, it's not a trip, our next phase in life, how we're doing these 5-6 months here of just renting out our space, and life just provides so beautifully, and we're invited to contribute. So there is this flow, which is just beautiful. And I couldn't have not planned that with my mind, nor do I need to hold on to what is or what might be. There's this flow that I'm really intrigued and I'm allowing myself to really surrender to. And I invite you, or we invite you, to do the same thing or something similar.
Yeah. And one other point that I really want to make here is that sometimes the middle ground can seem very boring. And there's also when life doesn't go to one extreme or another, and it can be flat, it can be monotone. And there's things go along at the same pace. So if you're living sort of this monotone life and nothing is happening, might there be a hidden extremist within you? What are your desires that are and needs that are extreme that you haven't allowed yourself to let out and to acknowledge? Because when you're at a stasis point, we do need the extreme to kind of wake us up and to open us into, again, this flow and this rhythm, because this energy of this week is about the rhythm, being in that rhythm between the points, the two various points, and then finding that middle ground. But when you stay in the middle ground too long, that becomes complacent. So we need the movement again, and we move from one extreme to the other, and it's catching yourself. This week it's about that middle point of that sort of that stasis and that peace and that knowing. So we need both. We're not saying extremes are bad and modesty is good. We have all of it, and it is this dance of life, this rich dance of life that we're in. So I hope that made sense and added a little bit of richness to the depth of what this is. We're talking from the I-Ching, which is this deep, deep wisdom, Chinese wisdom, ancient wisdom, and how it pertains to us even to this day. So let's take that into a meditation and really ponder these qualities.
And before we take it into the meditation, as always, do give us a thumbs up and let us know your thoughts, your ponderings from your point of view in the comments below. Very much appreciated. Yes. It keeps us going.
Yeah, for sure. Cool.
And sorry for the wind noise. That's just one extreme in nature. Yep. The air moves.
And we have frogs in the background, and who knows what else will come hopping or singing along.
Good. So just take a moment and take a deep breath in. And another one. And allow your body to relax and allow your being to arrive in the present moment. And with you being present, your body starting to relax, perceive the space of you, your personal space that is sacred. And allow yourself to really deeply perceive the energy of you, connecting with who you truly are. That is way beyond what your mind can fathom. And perceive how this space of you is your point of gravity in life, to which you can return over and over again when you fall into one extreme or the other. Really perceive this. This is your home ground, your base, your true grounding within yourself, resting within yourself, actively resting, relaxing within yourself, your space, your sacred space. And from that space, think of an extreme situation in your life where you might feel a little off center, unsure, afraid, worried. And being connected to your center of true to you, allow yourself to fall into that, perceive it, observe it. Don't change it, just be present with it. At all times, be aware of that sacred space within your center of gravity, you, experiencing an extreme. And then allow yourself to fall back into center completely, letting that extreme be, and coming home to yourself. And then connect with another example, maybe one where you're extremely happy, elated, excited, thrilled, and allow yourself to dive into that while you're connected with your center, experiencing that extreme. And then return back home to center. And then connect with someone you have a difficult time with, that challenges you, that pushes your buttons. And allow yourself to experience that, connected with your center. Fall into that extreme. And then return home to yourself, letting that situation be. And connect with somebody whom you love, whom you adore, who you always have a good time with, or most of the time. It just makes you happy. And just allow yourself to fall into that dynamic, connected with your center. And then return home to yourself, your point of gravity, your sacred space. And just notice what this dance of extremes is for you when you're actually connected with you. How does it make you feel? Be present in this world and engage with this world when you are grounded in yourself, in your sacred space. And connected with our centers of gravity, our sacred space. Let's connect and engage with the world at this moment in time where there are so many extremes, all of which are right and know what is going on and are convinced that the future will be this or that. Creating a dance that can seem crazy. And just be present within your sacred space, perceiving those extremes whirling around in the world, trying to persuade, trying to be right, trying to convince. And just be present in that energy of modesty Not having to prove anything, be better or less than anything or anyone. Just be present and engage with that energy from that space. And being present in that way, engaging with the world, perceive how your presence and living true to you opens new doors, new possibilities beyond the extremes. Opens the door to magic, that which cannot be explained by any extreme, but that just is. Let's together open up for that, for the unexpected. Life, the love of life, and the love for life. And allow that energy to contribute to you in your sacred space and in your life. Open up with every pore of your being and every molecule of your body to receive this energy of life, loving you and you loving life.
And loving all of humanity in all its diversity and extremes.
Mm-hmm. And loving yourself with all your extremes, all your beauty, all your ugliness, all your gifts, all your challenges. Loving it all. Finding your center within it. And that is something we're very grateful for, that you dare to live your extremes, your extreme beauty, your extreme challenges, whatever it is. Thank you. That adds to the diversity of this world and is a huge gift in being in that and finding the truth of you within the extremes. Yes. Thank you for being you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming today, and thank you for that beautiful meditation. Thank you, birds. Thank you, heavens, earth, sky,
Frogs.
mountain, frogs, all the beings who are here. Thank you for technology that can bring this message to you today.
And this beautiful bush. So gorgeous.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. So, yes, enjoy this exploration into modesty in the next week. And let us know your comments. Let us know how this speaks to you. We love hearing from you. And until next week,
Bye.
bye for now.